भये काल बस जब पितु माता मैं बन गयो भजन जन त्राता. He's saying that when my father and my mother passed away, he said, I withdrew to the forest. Why? To worship Shri Ram, the protector of his servants. Now, he said, when my father and mother passed away. Do you think both of them passed away at the same time? One must have gone before the other. But he said, when both my father and mother passed away. Now he wanted to pursue the path of spirituality. He could have said, well, mom and dad, I'm going to the forest. That's my calling. He didn't go because he knew he had that responsibility to take care of his parents. So he says, when both my parents passed on, then I went. So it is our responsibility to take charge of our parents. That is our responsibility. And the Christ puts it well. He says, honor thy mother and thy father, so that the days which the Lord thy God has given thee upon this land shall be long and everlasting. So we cannot put aside that responsibility. Now, because when his father was teaching him, he said, I could not grasp, I could not internalize what was given to me, because my mind, it never meant anything to me. But now they have passed on. That responsibility has now been taken away from me. So I can go now and pursue my calling. So when both of them passed on, he went on to the forest region. Jaha jaha bipina munishwara pava ashram jai jai sudana. So he says, when I went to the forest, wherever there I discovered the saints and sages living in the woods, he says, I visited them, jai ashram jai jai sudana. I went to those ashrams and I paid reference to all the great teachers, the saints and sages. I paid reference to them. Why did he pay reference to them? Because they would be the ones to enlighten him. Because he is in the pursuit of spiritual knowledge. He said, I bowed in reverence. That's how you greet your Guru. You bow in reverence to him. So that purpose, let's see what took place now as he went into the forest region. Things have changed. The dynamics have changed. Let's see what happened. Tusidar says. Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Rama Avatar. Bujauti nahi Ram gunagaha, kahi sunai harikit khaga naha. He says, when he went and visited those saints and sages, he said, I would ask them to tell me stories about Prabhu Shri Ram. Tell me of his excellences, his glories, his virtues. He says, kahi sunai harikit khaga naha. He says, Garud, I would sit and I would listen attentively to what they told me. I gave it my fullest attention because that is the reason why he went there. Sunata firau hariguna anubadha abhyahat gati shambhu prasad. He says, in this way, I roamed about listening to the recitation of Hari's virtues, the virtues. Rama Gun means the virtues of Prabhu Shri Ram. And he says, by Shiva's grace, Abhyahat Gati Shambhu. Shambhu Prasad means by the grace and benediction of Lord Shiva. He says, by Shambhu's grace, he says, my movement was unobstructed. I had free movement everywhere. That was one thing. That was because of the appeal that the Godfather made. He had that grace and blessings of Lord Shiva. He said, because of that grace, I was able to move unobstructed everywhere. I visited. It was my heart's delight to have been to the saints and sages' home. There I listened with rapt attention to what they had to teach. This filled my heart. And in Chopra Tusidar sings, Chute tribid ishanagadi ekalalasa ura atibadi. He said, Garud, the threefold passionate concerns, what are they? The desire to have offspring. Everybody wants to have offspring, children. He says the desire for wealth. Everybody wants wealth. And he says the desire for fame. He says these three things completely left my mind. I had no desire for anything. He says, but ekalalasa ura atigati badi. Ekalalasa. There's something, one thing that remained in my mind. What was that? He says, this solitary longing that grew in my mind, in my heart. What was that? Rama charan barij chabadiki. That I want to see with the physical eyes of mine the lotus feet of my beloved Lord. That is the one longing in my heart. I don't care for anything. I don't want anything. I want Rama charan barij chabadiki. I want to see with these eyes of mine the lotus feet of my beloved Prabhu Shri Ram. He says, Taba nija janma safal kari lekhi. When I would have seen that, then my mission on earth would have been fulfilled. What I wanted, that would have been fulfilled. He says, when I behold the lotus feet of my beloved Lord, the purpose of my life would have been accomplished. What do we think about as fulfilling our life? What it is we want to accomplish? We want the things of the world. As I indicated before, we want the cars and the houses, etc., etc., money. But all these things, we'd have to leave it here. That will only take us so much. That makes our life comfortable to an extent. But beyond that, there is nothing. So he said, everything of the world completely left my mind. I didn't care for wealth. I didn't care for family. I didn't care for name and fame. But I would consider this birth meaningful when I would have seen the lotus feet of my beloved Shri Ram. And one more chaupai before I come to Doha to bring my lesson on him. So Siddharth sings. Jehi puchhav soi muni asakahai Ishwara sarva bhutamai ahari. He said, Garud, all the sayers that I have questioned, they told me that God abides in all beings. Well, if God abides in all beings, why do we have so much problems? He says, all the sayers that I have met, they have said that the Lord abides in every being. If the Lord dwells in all hearts, what is the problem? Why do we have so much problems and difficulties? Why do we have people, who do so many wrong things? Well, Tulsidas gave a very beautiful illustration. He says, if you were to take a match and scratch it against the sulfur in the box, what happens? A fire emerges. What caused the fire? The friction. But do you think you created that fire? That fire was always there, but it was there in a latent form. A latent form means you cannot see it. But that fire was always there. But it needed something to cause it to emerge, and that was the friction on the box. In every one of us, there is the Lord residing there. But it needs a certain condition for the Lord to emerge, so that we can feel Him in our behavior, in our thinking, in our speech. And what is that? Prem, divine love. Only when we create that divine love within us, that aspect of us would glow. Only then. Just as the fire, in order to emerge, needed a certain condition, so too, for that divine to emerge within us, we have to develop that kind of prem, that bhakti for the divine. That is why it is resident there, but is not awakened. And until such time that it is awakened, we'll always have problems. So he says, everyone told me that God abides in all beings. But this doctrine, Nirgun mat nahi mohi sohai. Nirgun, God appears in the Nirgun form and the Sagan form. The Sagan form is like Shri Ram. The Nirgun form is that which we don't see without the gunas. The spirit form. So he said that everybody told me that this doctrine of the impersonal form, that the Nirgun form, but that did not satisfy me. I had developed a special love and attachment to the Sagun Brahma. The Sagun Brahma is that of Shri Ram. I want to behold Him, I want to touch Him, I want to be able to relate to Him. I want that form. My mind is filled with love for that form. And when we look at the Sagan form, that is Shri Ram, Shri Krishna, we can relate to that. But when you talk about God in abstraction, it is difficult to even comprehend that being. That is why God said, because of my devotees, they pull me, they cause me to take a form because of their devotion. And when one's devotion is so ripe and so full, we have the power to bring the Lord to us. And I bring my lesson to an end this evening with Dua Santu Siddharth says.
पीछे से आप सबसे
This is a committee. So the Doha says, Guru ke bachana surati kari Ram charan manla. He says, when I recall the words of my Guru, he says, my mind conceived a fondness for the feet of Prabhu Shri Ram. Because the Guru told him, he says, my son, Lord Shankara and Shri Ram are the same. But he made a distinction. He said, dwelling in the heart of Lord Shankara is the image of Prabhu Shri Ram. And vice versa. In the heart of Shri Ram is also the image of Lord Shankara. And when you think about that now, he didn't have that love for Prabhu Shri Ram. He says, now I have an exceeding love for the lotus feet of Prabhu Shri Ram. He says, Raghupati jasa gawat firav, chana chana nava anurag. He says, I wandered about, I moved about, hymning the praises of Raghunath. He says, with chana chana nava anurag, he says, every moment that grew, my love for the Lord grew even greater with passing of each moment. And I want to explain that a little bit. In the physical world, everything reaches a climax and then it descends. Whatever we have, it reaches a climax and then it descends. In the world of spirituality, there is never a climax. Let me explain that. If you come to this home and you see some laddu prepared, right? Immediately your mouth begins to water and you want to have some. So you have brought some on a plate, you eat one, the appetite grows for more. You eat again. And then it grows for more. You eat more, you eat the third one. And then you eat the fourth one. And then you go on the fifth one. Because your mind feels different now. And you eat a sixth one, you may vomit. So what happened? It increased. Look at the graph. It started with one, the mouth is watering, you want it, you get it. So there is a certain satisfaction that builds up. And it reaches there, it plateaus off, and then it descends. In the physical world, all things are like that. Think of anything. It reaches a point of climax, and then it descends. It doesn't go beyond that. In the world of spirituality, the more you are involved in devotion, the greater it becomes. There is never a point of satiation. There is never a point of fulfillment. So he said, I went about chanting and singing the glories of the Lord. He said, chana chana anurag. Anurag is love. Each moment, my love for the divine grew even greater. Every moment. We can't stay out of the physical world. There will be a moment when it catches our mind and our thinking. But then there comes a point. It doesn't go beyond that. In the spiritual realm, things go far beyond. So my dear friends, I want to apologize for the fact that I'm not quite comfortable. Where I do my thing, I have my own setup that makes me comfortable. I can see, but I have to go near the doctor. See, I have a problem with my eyes right now. Right, so I have cataract, so I don't see properly. So that's one of my problems. So I want to apologize for that. I couldn't be fluent because I'm not quite comfortable. But I tried my best because today is a very special day, my brother's 74th birth anniversary. And I deem it a privilege and honor to be here side by side with him. I knew him in the year 1966. We became friends. We met at St. David's College in the year 1966. And from then to now we have been friends all along. He is 1 year my junior. So I won't tell you my age, he's 74. So we have enjoyed our companionship. We have read Ramayan together for many, many years. But things have changed now, you know, everything has changed completely. Look at my hair. At one time it was in this color. You know. And I want to, before I end, there is one verse that Swami Sankaracharya puts it like this. Angangalitam palitam mundam dasana vihinam jatan tundam bridhayat grihitva dandam therapina munchas yasha. He's saying that we become toothless, grey, we become bald. We cannot walk, we need a staff to walk on. He said, but the desires that we have, therapina munchas yasha, the desires that we have still are there. Even at that point when we can't make it, we're still thinking of the world. Who would take my wealth? Who would acquire my home? That is still there. So people don't give up so easily. So Swami Sankaracharya puts that. Bhajigo Vindam, Bhajigo Vindam. Continuously recite the name of Bhajigo Vindam. And that will take us across. We have to learn to let go. So we have entered the fourth stage of our lives. And you all will enter that at some point in time also. And at the fourth stage of life, our Dharma says that we will completely give up the world. There's another dimension that we should seek, and that is that of spirituality. We should be prepared for that. Just as you prepare for everything, we must also prepare for death. Death is very much a part of life. So people think that, you know, only Mr. X will die, I wouldn't die. But we have to live with that and know that death will come when it will come. And we got to be prepared. So I am deeply honored this evening to sit next to my bhai and to have read this lesson. Though I did not, project my lesson as I would have wanted, but I am happy that you all sat and you listened. And I want to wish him all the best, Shri Rama's blessings. May he grow in health. Whatever comes, we have to accept it. Whatever limitations come, we have to accept that. It is a way of life. And the faster and the quicker we can accept these things, it makes life much easier for all of us. So I know there are some people who would want to sing and what have you. So he told me that he invited other friends to sing and what. So I want to leave it open now for those of you who want to come and sing. Or do you know people who are?
I can't see this.